Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Every once in a while I like to do kind of a real basic project that doesn't require any soldering, just for people who haven't moved into that stage of metalsmithing yet. And so I'm going to make kind of a double curl ring. One side's going to have some texture on it so that the curls look a little bit different, even though they kind of interlock on the top of the ring. It doesn't require any soldering, and I'm going to use a little stamp that looks like an asterisk to give it a texture on one side. And so it should be a pretty simple basic project. It's going to require a little bit of filing in order to get things ready to turn it into a ring, but it should be fun. So let's give this a try. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks that are available on my merch store. I find they're really useful for keeping track of my projects. Most of them have different metalsmithing information on them of various sorts. This particular one has flow temperatures of some various different types of silver solder, and that's kind of handy to know those things. The key feature for me, though, is the dot matrix in the background. It helps me to draw better pictures when I'm trying to come up with designs. So I think they're a useful tool and a great way to keep a record of what you made, especially if you make a lot of stuff and want to remember how you did it. So get yourself one or two of these. Today's picture is not all that exciting because it's going to be kind of a simple project, I think. Basically, I'm going to have a single piece of 8-gauge half-round wire, or excuse me, 6-gauge half-round wire, which is about 4.1 millimeters wide. I'm going to file it to a taper on either end, and we're going to curl the ends in opposite directions, wrap it around a ring mandrel. I may texture it before I do that, and if I do that I'm going to have to anneal it because it's going to work hard in this particular side. But I have this little stamp that I'm going to use wherever I put it. I don't know if you can see it, it's got kind of just an asterisk sort of shape. And I found that that looks really good on top of half-round wire if you want to give it some interesting, something different than just having a smooth surface on it. I like the way it looks. So I'm going to do this about halfway around the band, and then on the other side we'll do a high polish on it, and we'll see how that looks. I think it'll be cool, as long as I can get the curls nicely interlocked like that. I cut a piece about 13 centimeters long. I was trying to shoot for maybe a 7 or an 8 size, but the first thing I'm going to need to do is to taper it down, and maybe decide how far down I want it to really start tapering. Maybe I'm going to have to sort of arbitrarily decide that. But I think if I look at this here, it needs to be finest there, and then maybe about right there. So I'm thinking that's about 1.5 inches, or maybe 3.5 centimeters or so. Let's see where that ends up. Maybe a little further. I'm going to do a little further than that. Like about, let's go about 4.5, I think. I'm going to make a mark where I'm going to start this filing. And then do the same thing on the other side. I may have to remark the other side because I have a feeling it's going to get rubbed off when I'm holding on to the wire. But sometimes what I do in order to have something a little bit easier to grab onto is I'll clamp it in my miter vise jig and use that in an unconventional way. Where did I put that anyway? It's just easier to hold it so it doesn't twist on you or anything. And then this is just going to be a whole lot of filing really to start with. I used to not like filing much when I first started, but I kind of like it because you can definitely see progress as you go, Ah, I do a lot of projects that are more intermediate or a little bit advanced. So I like to throw a few beginner ones in here now and again too. This would be the kind of thing that if you're trying to kind of flesh out your inventory for a show, that would be pretty easy to make a few of these without, you know, I have a feeling it's going to look pretty cool. I guess we'll find out for sure. Oops. Got myself a little bit. Need to grab a Band-Aid. Be right back. Okay, I think I'm going to take my Dremel now and I'm going to smooth that out so it has, you know, not all these rough looking file marks. Probably use an abrasive white wheel and then maybe a finer polishing one. So I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay, I got that kind of smoothed out a little bit. And I think I'm going to curve the ends before I stamp it. So actually though, I need to mark the center point so I know how far down to stamp it before I shape it, I suppose. Pretty close. So right about there. Okay, and I think initially I'm going to use this to try and get this to curve just a little bit sideways. Whenever you're trying to bend something in a way that it doesn't want to go, like wide half round wire like this, it's going to try and twist on you a little bit. So let me see if I can find my little nylon jog pliers. We'll have to see how these mesh together. I think I may need to bend them a little bit more. This a little bit more. Like extend the curve outwards a bit. Now we're starting to talk, I think. So let me get this flattened out the rest of the way. And then I think, let's try and stamp this. So I'm going to start right at this center point here. And I'm using a dead blow hammer, so I get a pretty decent impression. So you can kind of see how it gives it a little star pattern. It gives it kind of a nice glittery texture. That's what I like. So I'm going to anneal this because this is going to have work hardened this side pretty significantly, and bending these will also have work hardened it a little bit. You probably can get by without it if you don't have a torch yet. It is just going to soften the metal up a little bit to make it easier to bend. So let's do that real quick here. If you're new to this, annealing is a way to soften the metal back up by heating it up to kind of a dull red color and then letting it cool off. Let that cool for a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap it around a ring now. I think this is going to come out really big, so I may curl these a little bit more. like these spirals a little bit better. A little bit wider, I think. Okay, I think I got the outsides pretty good, but I need these to curl in a little bit more maybe. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of neatening up, but that's kind of what I was shooting for, like that. We'll get that cleaned up and polished, and I'll show you the final result. Okay, got it kind of polished up. It's not as symmetrical as I would have liked, but it's pretty close. So I think it came out okay. I think that's an attractive ring. I think people would like that. I like the contrast between the smooth side and the textured side. So tell me what you think. What kind of variations would you do for something like this? I think that's a, you know, there's some potential for some different kind of sub-varieties of this one. So, all right, well, I'll get some better pictures and put them at the end. All right, well, that was a textured double curl ring. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure to hit the like button before you go, and I'd love it if you'd take a moment and visit my main channel page. I have 700-ish videos now. I've been doing 3 per week for about 4 years, so there's quite a pile of videos over there to peruse. There's all different skill levels, projects, tools, various techniques, and I think there's almost certainly something you'll find useful or interesting over there. So check a few of those out, and I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I wanted to thank some groups of people. My patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters. I could not do this without their support, both financially and morally. It's turned out to be a really nice group of people over there that I really like to tap into their knowledge and enjoy interacting with them. And I have a new one. I have Jenna V. Thank you for signing up. I really appreciate your support. I think you'll find that it's a great group of people over there to get to know. So enjoy, and thank you again. My YouTube subscribers are the other group that I'd really like to thank for their support. We just passed 26,800, I believe, which is awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you also for the really nice comments. I really enjoy hearing from you and hearing what you like to do, your suggestions for videos, your techniques. All of that stuff not only teaches me things, but it's nice to feel like you're doing something good for people, so thanks for that. I also do really appreciate the financial support, the Buy Me a Coffees, the Super Thanks, the people who buy my merch from my merch store or my ebooks. That stuff really helps to keep my channel sustainable, and I really couldn't do it without your help. So thank you for that. Finally, visit the video description down below for some important links. There's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out more about that community. There's multiple tiers of membership with different perks, so check that out. visit my merch store where you can get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks that I talked about. I find those super useful for sketching up designs and keeping track of ones I've made in the past in case I want to revisit them. So get yourself a couple of those, they're really handy. Finally, there's a link to my newest ebook. It's 2025's video tutorial guide. It has a page for each of the videos I did during 2025. It includes a link to the video, a picture of the sketch that I drew prior to making the project, final outcome, a list of materials you need to make the project. If there's a stone in it, it has information about the stone, a difficulty rating, and some notes that I made about the project. Things like, would I do it differently if I was to approach this again? Did I learn something from it? Did I have a successful outcome or not? I don't always have a successful outcome when I'm experimenting. I think it's a valuable way to have a whole bunch of projects right at your fingertips and a great way to support my channel, so thank you in advance if you do that. You can even get the past 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, and I think you get $15 off the top if you buy them all three as a package deal, so if you do that, I really appreciate it. All right, well, thanks for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.